AVC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here. Just a recent finds video, kind of a record store day recent finds video. Obviously, RSD was yesterday, and, people been kind of doing some videos showing a lot of stuff that they picked up and all that good stuff. And yeah, just wanted to kind of share some of the things that I've picked up as well as, it's a couple non-RSD things too, as well as kind of just putting in my quick 2 cents on record store day in general. As you guys know, my boy Billy Hurst owns Riverbend Records over in Godfrey, Illinois. If you're not familiar, definitely check them out. Follow them on Instagram. Follow them on Facebook. They have the Monday Night Live auctions all the time where they auction off amazing pieces. So, opportunity to get your hands on some really, really good albums there. So again, Riverbend Records on Facebook. Yeah, Billy's had his shop for about 2.5 years now, and this was another record store day for us, and it was really a fantastic one. And yeah, when it comes to kind of record store day, there's always kind of 2 different views that I have of it between myself as an individual and then just record store day as a whole. And I think record store day as a whole is absolutely fantastic. I think it's great that the attention is being drawn into the independent stores. I'm sure just about every single store, it's their biggest day of the year without question. We had such an amazing day yesterday. I left before we closed, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was our best day ever since the shop has been opened. So that wouldn't be a surprise if that were the case. And so that's fantastic. And I also kind of just love the idea that within that day that you could have, veteran collectors that have been collecting for decades that, maybe have grails on their list that, are few and far between when they come in. It's kind of cool to also kind of know that on this day, there'll be a couple of things that I want on a grail level that I have a chance to actually go get on this specific day. You don't get that oftentimes as a collector when you're just kind of out digging all the time looking for grails. You never know when something's going to come. So the fact that it can kind of bring that energy to veteran collectors is a great thing. But then also the fact that that same energy can be brought to someone who's not even a collector, just someone who listens and likes vinyl and had been buying a few for the past 6 months, and now all of a sudden they, want the Taylor Swift album just as much as, someone who's been collecting for 30 years wants something else. And it brings them into the shop with the exact same energy and desire and want. I think that's cool. And so then not only that for the collectors, but again, the attention to the music world, the vinyl world, the independent record shops, all of that, to me, that's one thing that makes record store day absolutely fantastic. Now, when you boil down to just me as an individual, I have a bunch of issues with record store day, which is not issues that I need to pass on to anybody else. But, prior to working at the shop over the past 2.5 years, I really didn't even go to a record store day for the prior maybe 7 years or so. Really over the time when it actually became the Black Friday thing. Because I've been collecting for about 17 years or so. And those type of days were not always the Black Friday lines all the way down the corner like you see now. And right about the time that started happening, again, maybe 7-8 years ago or something like that, I just kind of was like, this is not what it's about for me. And so if I ever did go out on a record store day, it was only after lunch, 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock is when I went to the shops. And it was if they're having just regular sales on certain things and blah, blah, blah. But I was never out in the morning trying to grab something or blah, blah, blah. Because I just didn't like that feel. I didn't like the Black Friday thing that it had become, and the the pushing and shoving and the flipping and all that. It really turned me off. So again, that was just kind of personally how it made me feel. But again, as far as record store day, it's fantastic, and I wouldn't take it away in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. Obviously, personally, there's things I like to tweak about it, but So yeah, I think it's really a fantastic thing. But one thing I definitely know is that I may not like it as a customer going out on record store day, but working the shop on record store day is absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh, that might be more fun than any record store day that I've gone out with as a customer ever. It's just something about having that energy in the shop, seeing the shop do that well. But really, for me personally, it's like having all your regulars and all the newbies in the shop at the same time. Everybody's mingling, everybody's interacting, everybody's kind of like, because I usually work the shop on the weekends, so there'll be like one or two regulars that come in and we'll talk for an hour, and then there's another day there's the other two regulars that come in and we'll talk for an hour and go on. But then all of a sudden you have like all of your regulars there, and now you're having cross conversation with people that you usually never have conversations with, and then you have people over here that are listening and they're jumping in on the conversation, and it's just kind of like it's cool to have the entire family together all at one time. And the day just flew by like that. So that's one thing as an individual I love, is actually working record store day like that, because it was fantastic being around all those people. So many great fun conversations yesterday. It was awesome. So anyway, that's my 2 cents all around on record store day as a whole. And like I said, don't forget to go over to Facebook, Instagram, follow Riverbend Records, and you can kind of get in on some of the awesome things going on there. But let me kind of show you some of the things that I picked up for RSD. We'll start here with PM Dawn. This is the Bliss album. Very cool reissue. This was from, actually, had this been pressed on vinyl before? I don't know, actually. I never did look that up. But it's from 1993. PM Dawn's kind of a very, very cool band. A very jazzy R&B, almost spoken word type of hip hop, if you will. But it's kind of a style they had, and it was a very smooth, very cool style. Most people probably know them from their song Set Adrift on Memory Bliss from their first album. But off of this album, I think the big hit was I Die Without You. Very, very cool, smooth groove of a song, and kind of cool to see that pressed on vinyl again. So that was a great pickup. It's always good to see more of the Cranberries being pressed. Of course, this is Wake Up and Smell the Coffee. Love the Cranberries to death, so I just hope they get around to kind of reissuing all their studio albums. And the last couple record store days, they've put out something by the Cranberries, so that's very awesome. And that was, I think, 2001 when that album came out. This is one of the top ones on my list that I wanted to grab, so I'm glad we had a good number of those. The Verb Pipe, this is Villains. This is from 96. Yeah, 1996. And of course, they had the big hit, The Freshman, off of this, which was a song that I loved back in the day. I remember buying the maxi single for it on CD, so it's kind of cool to see that on vinyl. So that was a great choice of a release for Record Store Day. One non-RSD piece that I got was this one here, which is Overkill, Scorched Earth. This just came out like a week or two ago, and I've heard some people really kind of talking about this and the Metallica, because those are two of the big, I guess, metal bands that kind of put something out the past couple weeks. And I heard a few people say that the Overkill was better than the new Overkill is better than the new Metallica. Now, I've only listened to 3 songs off of this so far, so I haven't got a chance to really go through it yet. But from the 3 I heard, I can kind of hear maybe where people are coming from. But again, I want to really kind of go through and check the entire album out. Because the one thing about Overkill is, as long as they've been around, like Bobby and the guys, they just do not really change their formula. And you almost kind of know what you're going to get on every single Overkill album for the past 30 plus years. And so far, like I said, the little bit I've heard, it is an awesome, awesome album. So always great to get another one by the legends there. I just wish they would get around to pressing Necroshine on vinyl, because that's my favorite Overkill album. They seem, for whatever reason, just to kind of skip right over it in the reissues that they've been doing. So hopefully they'll get around to it. But another nice RSD, here's the Donnas. This is the early singles, 95 through 1999. So this is a really cool RSD pickup as well. I was able to get my hands on one of those. And I think I haven't listened to this all the way through. I have a couple of their earlier CDs, which has some of the songs off of here, like Let's Rab and a few other things. And so if it's basically those early things, it's kind of their, when they were more in their punk or pop punky-ish type of phase, where I think later on they definitely kind of went more of a big guitar, hard rock type of thing with some punk flavor, but it was more of a, in my mind, kind of a hard rock type of thing. So that's the Donnas, though. Those are my girls. I love them to death. So that was a great one. And then what they've done so well, in my opinion, over the past 2 record store days is they've put, or the 3 I should say, they've put out a Kitty release, which has been awesome, because this is just one of my favorite all-female metal bands. I think they're from Canada, and for the longest time it's just like you pretty much didn't have much of anything on vinyl with them. And 2 record store days ago, or 3 record store days ago, they put out a release. They put out one last record store day, and they did again this record store day with Until the End. So I hope they continue to do that, because I would love for them to put their entire discography on vinyl, because man, these ladies freaking bring it. Oh my gosh, seeing them live in the whole nine, and you know, just they bring it. So if you're not familiar with Kitty, definitely make sure you check them out. But that was one I was very pumped about. And last but not least, Warrant, Little Dirty Rotten Filthy Stinking Rich. This is in the RSD. It's the music on vinyl pressing, but glad to finally get that back into the collection. You know, music on vinyl always has just fantastic pressings in the whole nine. So I think they did a red release like a few months ago or something like that. And then this is the 3000 of the clear vinyl. So they reissued some because they sold out so fast. So that was great. So yeah, that's Warrant. So anyway, there you go, VC. Those are just some of my recent pickups. Hope everybody had a pretty good record store day. As always, let me know what you think, and we will talk to you soon. All right, take care, guys.